voice notes, audio messages, and text messages to 876-365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session, hour 106.
What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode?
Someday you'll understand. It could all be I have a dream that someday I have a dream that someday this is going to be a better day. Maybe you can't see my dream, you can't see my dream. I'm sure someday you'll understand. We can all be better if we get it together. And dream. Oh, how sweet the words of love and peace sound to her ear. Only one thing wrong, my friends, till they say these words, not enough are sincere. Lord, the words of freedom, liberty stands out in my soul and my mind. Tears come to my eyes, just tears of blind. I have a dream that someday you'll all walk hand in hand. I have a dream that someday for our children this will be a better life. Now maybe you can't see my need, you can't see my dream, but I'm sure someday you'll understand. We can all be better if we get it together. And make a dream. Say it. Oh, my dream, come true. For me and for you. Dream, the impossible dream.
I Have a Dream by Solomon Burke, and before that, A Dream Deferred by Langston Hughes. It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's also the International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the 11th day of the 6th month of 2024. Put another way, it's the 11th day of the first month of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season in this Disaster Risk Reduction Month, Road Safety Awareness Month, Brides Month, and Pride Month. It's National Immigrant Heritage Month in the United States. Members of the Caribbean diaspora in America are celebrating National Caribbean American Heritage Month. National Caribbean American Restaurant Week activities continue in Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, otherwise known as the DMV. June is also Caribbean Cuisine Month in the DMV. Still in the United States, June is being observed as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, Cataract Awareness Month, Men's Health Month, Myasthenia Gravis Awareness Month, Aphasia Awareness Month, Congenital Cytomegalovirus Awareness Month, Migraine and Headache Awareness Month, National Safety Month, Scleroderma Awareness Month, Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder PTSD Awareness Month, and Scoliosis Awareness Month. It's a national day in Libya, Our Lady of the Chapel in Spain, and a King Kamehameha Day in Hawaii. Hoy es martes el 11 de junio 2024 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa, Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones, y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. Ce mardi, le 11 juin 2024, et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme allant de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue.
Maybe you can't see my moon, you can't see my dream, but I'm sure someday you'll understand.
All we're saying is it's Tuesday, the 11th of June, 2024, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to both sides of the story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
I have a dream that someday for our children to be. I mean, you can't see my meaning, you can't see my dream. I'm sure someday you'll understand. We'll get it together. Say it again. Oh, I dream, come true for me and for you. Dream, the impossible dream.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And making sure that we get the full input of our listeners and viewers locked into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM as we continue with more after the break.
Maybe you can't see my moon, you can't see my dream. You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 2:15. How much do you know about spices and the impact they have on your everyday life? Join us every other Friday during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie at 6:18 a.m. for Spice Up Jamaica. We'll give you tips, tidbits, and interviews about the revitalization and sustainability of the Jamaican spices, including ginger, turmeric, and pimento. That's Spice Up Jamaica every other Friday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie right here on Power 106 FM. Spice of Jamaica is brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture Food for Purpose Jamaica Spices Project. In my soul and my mind, tears come to just as a blind. Someday, I have a dream that someday for our children this will be there. I mean, you can't see my meaning, you can't see my dream. Sure, I'm sure someday you'll understand. get it together and ready to sing it with me. Oh, I dream, come true for me and for you. Dream, the impossible dream.
Thanks for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And still taking your feedback on 876-922-4112-5, 876 365-3346 is the text line, same as the WhatsApp number. And we continue to take your comments as well and share with the rest of the listeners. A couple of big stories trending. Hearsay challenge, if you were watching the flow of the news on television or streaming, and the headline is Hearsay Challenge. Prosecution objects to witness opinion as cartel retrial hearing begins. Son's illness argument among points struck out. Defense lawyers representing Adidja Vibes cartel Palmer and his co-accused are contending that the unavailability of technological material that was used in their original murder trial will affect their client's defense if a retrial is granted. While the attorneys have submitted a report from an expert witness in support of the claim, the prosecution is objecting to the document, challenging it as hearsay. The prosecution has further contended that the expert witness, its consultant Sean Wenzel, has presented an opinion outside of his expertise. Court of Appeal judges Justice Marva MacDonald Bishop, David Fraser, and Paulette Williams are presiding over a hearing to determine whether the men, Palmer, Sean Campbell, Kahira Jones, and Andre St. John, are to be retried or acquitted in the 2011 murder of Clive Lizard Williams. They have reserved a ruling until the matter is fully hashed out in the substantive hearing, which is to start today. And the objection was raised by Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions, Janik Forbes, who cited 3 issues with the affidavit submitted supporting the report. Forbes argued that the report does not conform with what the law stipulates and also addresses the expert's review of the report, which is not included in the affidavit, and on that basis said it would be considered hearsay. So that's one to watch as time goes by to see how it pans out. Also, cabbies to extend protest despite modest impact. Taxi operators rally against demerit point system and other regulatory issues. a couple of messages in the meantime. Ellerid says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. What I notice when one in Jamaica gets a lead position in a government agency, they become a dictator. Take for a dictator, take for the person that he had the road traffic department instead of educating the public. He becomes an oppression to drivers. We are all Jamaicans and we should treat each other the way we need ourselves to be treated. If the shoes is on the other foot, the Minister of Justice or changing laws are changing laws daily to make Jamaicans' lives more hard. Is the government becoming a dictator?" asks Ellerid. And Calvin in North York, Ontario, Canada has sent us another message as well. Thank you very much. Keep those comments coming in and those messages coming in. 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Among the other stories that are in the news today, in the Gleaner in particular, Wholeness, JLP, not the same party of the 80s. And there's a picture of Mr. Wholeness. Ruling party to change course arising from February local government polls is another. And from Gordon House to King's House, yet another story. Valerie Curtis gets new senior position in government. And there's some more news from the Keith Clark murder trial. Daughter insists she is telling the truth amid clash of narratives. Is the government fair? Is the question being asked by Michael Abrams in today's Gleaner. Is the government fair? Well, you, our faithful listeners, can decide for yourselves and tell us what you believe. So we thank you very much for your messages right here on both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. Norman Hines says, "Blessed afternoon, Sir Dervan, Malcolm, and listeners." To you too, Norman Hines. Mike Montgomery says, "Hi, teacher. I'm here home watching you live on Facebook. I want you to big up my friend, Blacka. Keep safe, teacher." Thank you for your message. Nicola in Central Jamaica, good afternoon to you too. Inez Ayona Campbell says, "Good afternoon, everyone." Good afternoon, Inez Ayona Campbell. And let's see who else is messaging us here. JM Master Songwriter, I am Miss B, says, "Greetings, Mr. Malcolm." And goes on to say, "As you come on in, thank you in advance. Pleasure to have you on board. Thank you very much. And all the best." As we take your calls on 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number. Let's go over to Driver in America and hear what he has to say on this Tuesday afternoon. Good afternoon, Driver.
Oh, I love it when I couldn't say driver in America. Oh man, that was golden. The moment, man, meeting my brother, it was, it was as I always thought it would be. And having come back here and been listening to you, but I haven't had a chance to call him. But believe it or not, this is just now I'm reaching back to New York because I went back to Chicago to work.
Mm.
So basically, brother Dervan, your opening poem, the dream, the raisin and the sun. What becomes of the dream deferred? Has Jamaica's dream been deferred, brother Dervan?
I would have to say it depends on who is talking, because there are those who are having a ball and are enjoying the spoils, and there are others who are struggling.
I rephrase it and say the dream that Jamaica could be, has it been deferred?
Well, we hope sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please, sir.
I was going on to say we hope not, because we can't afford that. Not now, not ever.
In the face of the evidence that we have, glaring our faces, if that's not real enough, what does it look like to you, brother Dervan?
A hard road to travel.
Earlier, and it seems we were a shadow of ourselves. I don't even know if it's a shadow of ourselves, as we have been. But really looking at it, sometimes just I've been covering all the bases today. Speaking with Brother Russ, and it was the same thing. And then I came up with a question. Do our leaders mean Jamaica any good? Or
well, that's what they tell us.
They tell us that. But what was the evidence? I mean,
well, the evidence speaks for itself. Sorry.
Yeah, we're on the slippery slope. And you say at the same time, the thing that keeps it going, because at the same time, there are many people who are living high on the hog and quite comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And there are those who just tune out, and there are a whole bunch of those. So I'm asking, what becomes of the dream deferred, as your opening poem says?
Yeah.
We cannot say definitely, and I hope we can, what it becomes, that this, as we see it, the disorder, so much disorder, and no one, irrespective of your economic status, can say they're above it, because you have to come into it, you have to face it. It's so prevalent, widespread. Up in the city, brother Dervan,
hold a moment, please. We need to take a break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 2:30.
Mas Bertie, I owe your pepper and tomato flash shine so like morning star.
Wait, then you not hear about the new mighty side name Pega Star from Caribbean Chemicals? I hit the use, man. And can we start use it? Why, the results is so tremendous.
Make me go grab a buckle of Pega Star up at the farm store there. Star up your field with Pega Star. Mighty side insecticide. 2-in-1. Be safe. Read the label. Wear your PPE. Pega Star. Distributed by Caribbean Chemicals and available at farm stores island-wide.
Motorists, listen up, cause we have a capacity. If you like on your heart, it's on your helmet. So must not drive without it. And make sure the little one them well strappy. Make sure them fit good in them car seat. Pedestrian this time. Bring back to mind everything we have heard. Never you cross when you see a green light. Look right, then left, then again look right. Even below, it's dark outside. Make sure you hear something. When look right, walk right, and drive. Be I stay alive on the road. Be safe, stay alive. Road safety begins with you. A message from the Road Safety Unit.
Yes, driver. Thanks for holding.
yes, brother, but I say our capitals.
Hold on, just a moment. Go again. Sorry.
I say our capital city.
Yes.
You and many who have traveled, you consider the efforts to define it adequately represented in what we see when we come to Kingston?
Well, surely our people are not shy in coming forward. They're not backward in coming forward. So,
Infrastructure wise,
uh,
infrastructure, order, traffic, things that you consider the trappings of a capital city.
mhm.
Do we see form? Do we see order?
Well, that is played out before our very eyes every single day, in country, in town, in city, in the valley, by virtue of how we do what we do, when we do what we do, why we do what we do.
Might I ask, why did you start with that poem, The Dream Deferred? This evening. Make that your thing.
It's one of those things, because I've been doing this for so many years. There, I don't set out necessarily to say this is what I'm going to use as a poem today. It depends on what is happening, either in my head or in the spaces that I occupy.
It's just that as you recited it, and I listened and I remembered it, it's a lament.
It is.
And that lamentation, as far as I don't want to rhyme, but as far as my nation is concerned, it has a special significance. Is the word melancholy
Yes, that would be appropriate.
that I feel? Yes. And it aches. It aches. Because I know I've seen it as a child, what it could have been, what it was, and watched it evolve into what I see. And it's not putting anybody down, but this is the thing about freedom without order. And then people say, well, who's going to legislate morality? Who's going to legislate order? But shouldn't the authorities have more of a hand in defining that order than just letting it loose and happen however it may?
Say that again. Sorry.
I saying the authorities, should they have just hands off on how it devolves the city? And I understand a lot of it, like you're driving on one of our main thoroughfares, Jamaica left, Jamaica right. You open Zoom community. I was laughing. I said, boy, I wonder, because I'm using Google Maps. I was saying Google and no borderline, because I ended up in some places where, and I was comfortable. Wherever I land, I'm in Jamaica, I'm good. But it's not for the faint of heart. And it's like we're off the main thoroughfares.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying about Dervan?
Yeah.
Different qualities of life smashed up against each other. And it's a wonder, you know what I mean? Because it's no wonder, rather, that we have, now the thing is, gangs and schools. And I take it there, and it's the urban areas where we see this occurring most. The gangs in the urban area, their influence, their offspring, their kin in the schools, taking the very same ethos into the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And it's spilling over. It's spilling over. And I know the migration is slow, but pretty soon there'll be nowhere to run. gated community, all this and that and stuff. So we need to mitigate this. We need our leaders to mitigate this. And several of the programs on the station address that. We need investment, especially our education, Brother Dervan.
Yes.
I'm encountering so many youth, people, even adults, who are functionally illiterate. I feel even bad sometimes when it's revealed to me. And they don't even know. Because they're doing their best with what they have acquired. You understand what I'm saying, sir?
Yes, I do.
And if you do not, if nothing else, because education is the root of it all. If you choose to, for political reasons or whatever, as we have over the years neglected our educational sector, and having a people that you can just ring a bell or blow a horn and they run out, and that's enough. And not having a love for your nation, putting your nation first and say, I take this office and I will apply the national pledge in its very essence in the execution of my duties. But we do not, it's like, what a foolishness that talk about. I asked a youth, in a reasoning, because I was trying to indicate to them, because they said, why I can't have the max? And I was trying to invoke Marcus Garvey without confidence. And I asked the youth, it's a teenager, you ever hear about Marcus Garvey? No. You see what I'm saying, Brother Dervan?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you blame the youth or do you blame the system in that regard? So
Well,
early teen.
Peter Tosh said a long time ago, you can't blame the youth.
Can't blame the youth. And people say it's a parent, but the parent was a victim of the same thing. This has been socially engineered into the fabric of our nation for the benefit of the few. Their small-minded economic benefit over the dream that we could become, to defer our dream for their benefit, their small benefit, their little material benefit, to defer the dream. Because they purposely, it's not just happenstance, Brother Dervan. This has been engineered to break us because we were a special people and the world, in quotation, saw us coming. And it became necessary to offset that trajectory that we were on as a people, to rediscover ourselves after the perils our ancestors encountered. And the whole thing was to offset that. And the sad thing about Dervan, we embrace our own prosecution.
True.
We celebrate it. And defend it against those who will say, remove the shackles, liberate your captivated mind, as Brother Luciana would say. And the crowd say, oh, we are talking about foolishness, that man. Marcus, who? And that is where we are, Brother Dervan. And then we want to turn the police out on people who don't even know themselves. That is the only option we can come up with. Zozo, state of emergency, this and that.
The process and the relationship between the people and the parliament or politicians has to be one of engagement.
But it has basically, as Brother Gale said, I was asking him if we had put the genie back in the bottle. He said we need a new bottle and a new genie, which I found quite profound. And he was speaking from the position of one who intends to educate in order to overcome this. But when the very system, the educational system, has been infiltrated, derailed, set up to fail, to be plundered by those who it is their charge to preserve and present to the population. So, Dervan, I see us now. Not to say it's up, but it's not, because sometimes when you don't even know better, it is easy to laugh, it is easy to smile. There's a bliss in ignorance, as it has been said. And that bliss has overtaken it, it's like a narcotic. So we don't even know, not we, but many don't even know what is good, what they should be seeking, and become like their leaders who tell them, hey, let's not aspire, not necessarily let us not aspire, but there's no profit in trying to be moral and such things. In a world that embraces that philosophy, there was one who said a long time ago, Ivan Boski, he just died, really quite a character on Wall Street back in the day, went to jail, insider trading, and his mantra was greed is good. And as a people who, it is easy to get caught in that trap because the material, all that stuff, it can it can become the object of your desire, as we see past nationhood and all that thing, Brother Dervan. So my thing is, as far as the dream being deferred, it was carefully engineered. And we're seeing what it can be, and I would pray that we have time to change our tact and take it back to a time when we don't have to be inside, imprisoned in our houses, all them bars and this and that. Anything I have for real note is like, even if I have a drill, fire drill, a drill to get out, it's not just run out your door. But, it's like we're keeping people out, but we don't even realize those same bars and everything else. So we're keeping ourselves in, locking ourselves in, our own waters. So, Brother Dervan, I just say all of that because I just melancholy. Because, even then, I didn't even stop me. I just went where I wanted, whenever I wanted, and just free as a bird in a tree with the guidance of Almighty God, on my right hand. So, I'm good. But
well, hold a moment, driver. Hold a moment, please.
Yes, sir.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Thanks for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Yes, driver, thanks for staying on the line.
Yes, Brother Dervan. I am so, the melancholy I referred to is generated by looking at the youth. We saw at the St. Elizabeth Agricultural Show there, AgriFest, the youth in their multitudes and how they presented. The future was there staring us right in the face, so many. And as we move, I went over on the other side of that very same complex over to CIS, They had a in-sport primary school. I don't remember, is it primary? Yeah, I think it's primary school and prep school Western Championship going on. And I saw the little kids doing their very best. And I listened to the parents. Allah, see what they go come boy. And I love my brother Dervan. I listen to all our people in good times when we can look past the pain and stuff like that. How beautiful we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, quite a picture. Pretty picture.
And that is what I'm about. Because me, at my age, I'm going to live my life, like I say, just, because my faith is such. And I can still enjoy Jamaica greatly in ways that other people say, you're mad, you're about this, you're over this. But it doesn't bother me because I'm sure, as you can see,
yeah.
But for the future, because I'm looking at what's going on, and without children who don't know who Marcus Garvey is, trying to live and not having been offered the benefit of such teachings and the necessity to cling to them.
That's right. God and nature first made us what we are. Then out of our own creative genius, we make ourselves what we want to be. Follow always that great law. Let the sky and God be our limit, and eternity our measurement. There is no height to which we cannot climb, using the active intelligence of our own minds. Minds create, and as much as we desire in nature, we can have through the creation of our own minds. In our homes and everywhere possible, we must teach the higher development of science to our children and be sure to develop a race of scientists par excellence. For in science and religion lies our only hope to withstand the evil designs of modern materialism. Never forget your God. Remember, we live, work, and pray for the oh, there we go now. There goes my memory now. But that was from high school days. Sorry. Quite a number of medals for speech, drama, dance, music.
But Brother Dervan, again, to the Jamaicans that we can be. You're an inner city young man growing up, and you decided to choose to cling to the things that you have to become the person you are, and evolving in what you can be. So, isn't each Jamaican child entitled to that?
Absolutely.
Opportunity?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes.
You say to accomplish the desire to have that available to each child has been deferred, has been not to be up to. Have we not the resources at our disposal to right now? If we're, Brother Bill was talking to the JTA president, and we've heard all of these people, key people in education, and if a real desire existed to really, rehabilitate our educational system and know that that is what will make us the Jamaicans that the dream which Jamaica represents is entitled to. It's really, it's just a matter of choice.
Yeah.
Will. This is decision making the three elements: will, reason, and intellect. And listening to people speak, it seems like they're quite, you know, equipped with all three. But then you have to apply them in different, in varying degrees to bring about the
Full effect.
desired result.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. And that is where we are failing because of small people with small desires of our nation. People who cannot, is it the word appraise our value?
Mhm.
Is that a proper application of that word right there, brother Dervan?
I think, is it more like a prize?
Appraise.
Mhm.
People who, in other words, in our parlance, we don't know what we value.
Yeah.
And rather than recognizing that if you, there's a principle in economics, if you make the cake bigger, then you'll get more naturally, but you're trying to get more out of a small cake. If you make the cake bigger, you have to grill up your house.
Hmm.
You don't have to import workers. You know, all these things, if you make the cake bigger, because that'll be more for the masses. But from a purely obscene capitalist perspective, they rather say, okay, least profit for most, least investment for most profit. And that is the way they're running our nation. 6% for education, or however much, agriculture, all them things. I'm not emphasizing the thing that could make us really be that dream that we could be rather different. But I'll go on and on and on. I'm just like looking at the future, and what else than I always like to say, hope is not a strategy, but I'm saying anything else, I hope and I pray that despite being deferred, the dream is not dead. And I'm glad to again have met you. It adds a little bit, another dimension to our conversations when we have them on here. And I forgot to acknowledge the audience. And there's an issue I would like to raise before leaving this whole thing about the diaspora. There's a concept of taxation without representation. In our contribution to our nation as far as remittance and the opposition we're encountering trying to have representation at the table as far as decision making. Do you think it is fair or that we have a right to be asking for such?
No, well, it
Are we just Jamaican than our brothers at home and sisters at home?
if we're looking at the bigger picture, sure. Because
I just want
what we're seeking is a greater level of hello?
yes, what we're
Yes.
seeking is a greater level of
A greater level of engagement, integration, I dare say fellowship, and a sense of belonging.
I'm not calling out Brother Dervan. It's that stupid ego over virtue kind of thing, power.
Mm-hmm.
Because if somebody from out there so come in and start talk, because it's that the cliques, you know,
Mm-hmm.
most parties, they're not as far apart as people think. And us coming with a perspective from out here, yeah, I'm doing on buy with shirt or not like that, food that we come with just love.
Yes.
You know, love for our nation because a lot of people leave and don't look back.
True.
for those who hold Jamaica dear in our hearts. Don't tell us, hey, we don't have anything to say as far as the direction that we would like our nation to go. I ask our leaders in conclusion to pay attention to the education sector. We have more than enough soldiers here among our educators to make the thing work. Get out of their way. The ministry, you have a lot of dead weight in there, been carrying it for years. Pull out the scalpel, do the surgery, get rid of the cancer, make our educational sector healthy, that our people can be wealthy and wise. One love, brother Dervan.
Well said. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you too.
I'm a good teacher.
Bless you too. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Driver there pouring out his heart and recommitting himself as he tends to do from time to time in terms of ensuring that all of us who have ever heard him or even met him would recognize that he is all about country first. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's the kind of an approach that is the gift that keeps on giving. Thank you once again, driver. All the best. Drive well. As we continue with more here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, and still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. We have a break coming up right now. So we're going to go to the break and come back with more in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now.
Look, here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Cut back on recurring charges. Do you subscribe to services you never use? It's easy to forget about monthly subscriptions to streaming services and mobile apps that charge your bank account, even when you're not regularly using these services. Review your spending for charges like these and consider canceling unnecessary subscriptions to hold on to more money each month.
I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream. I have a dream that someday this will be a better land. You can't see the meaning. You can't see the dream. But I'm sure someday you'll understand. We can all be better.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM, streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, and still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3716. 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Sorry we missed your call, David Crossburn. Feel free to try again. Let's take a couple of messages in the meantime. This one says, good afternoon. I don't think it is beyond us to give the inner city a flat rate on electricity. It is really difficult to most of these people to pay, so some of them have to do things that they don't have a choice of doing. The government can use it as a way to fight crime. They can zone each community and let the people apply for it. But each zone must be crime-free for that zone to get the flat rate. You would be surprised to see how much the crime would be reduced in Jamaica. We'll come back to that message from Spider, otherwise known as Horace, in just a moment. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mark. How are you, sir?
I am fine, thanks, Michael. And you?
I see that the blue mountains are up here, man, fresh and green and cool, but thinking of rain in the afternoon, and the evening sunshine out, the place beautiful.
And I can well imagine the air up there is quite fresh, isn't it?
Yeah, man, fresh, clean air, man. I saw what we just done, just done plant some trees or something, man, come in here, whenever I hear, man. Better driver, so fully when we come at the end,
Yes.
Yeah, man, me just call you to hear you, but I love the work you do. I can tell you, so you come into me like bold, so Garfield, Silver, Scarcely Square, you're the number one journalist in the world to me.
You really think so?
Yeah, man, you're the number one journalist in the world. And if somebody better, you are number one. Anybody come after you, man. We just call you to hear you from big you up, man.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah, man. And the next thing I want to tell them about, man, lots of you, we don't really get none drought and the rain continues falling, they like rather corporation and all who have the road, them especially up in the Sam City area, East area, to get them fixed, man. Because I know some farmer work on gardens in yard,
Or because of the road?
Yes, several farmer can place some fancy go to Boone and Bull up, Rasses, them can get to garden farm, shake the road.
So how long since the road has been like this? From all the time you've been calling us and telling us?
Yeah, tell you all the time me call you and me tell you, man. And the main road from Guava to Flam City to the bad first city by in this bad state here, man.
So what? Is it the water just eating away at the surface? Is that it?
Somehow come in like that to the past couple years and get no service and things, some big patrol when rain come like swimming pool. Just bad, man. No, rather corporation or whoever control not spending the money by another year, sir. Because this year I don't know why, Okay, Michael man, we used to have him farm, car I don't plan June. And Minister Willie could answer some big top society, Joan Garden, Weblin, and at the first, we ever see the road station and Mr. Marco.
So it has never been repaired?
If we come down, I'll repair a little part of the bad one. A little part, like all roughly over about half mile and so on. Because it's a cheap material, because they put on the material this week here, and the same time the rain come and the whole thing come like never done. I don't know if I'm the street or rather what, but somewhat I don't really do it, but over 4 or 5 miles we carry an extra bad Mr. Malcolm.
Oh, Lord.
So I don't know who One time, my other man will come and say, I have money to 60 in a year before, lad. When I see she not done to what, it may no harm to the money.
Do you know if it is municipal corporation road as opposed to the NWA, National Works Agency?
And the National Works Agency control is rather control a part, and the most of the next year them are the KCC, you know.
Okay.
We get a new council, so you may have lots of work to do. They have to give me lots of money to look about the place there.
Well, I'm sure you deserve better than this, and you've been at it for some time now.
Yeah, man. Somebody come in and say, I next car, and I'm like, hear your car, then, you know, man. Enjoy your day, and thanks for having you, man.
Thank you very much for the call. All the best.
Yes, sir. I hear up everyone in the world.
All right. Thank you for the hail. It's a pleasure. Take care. And keep us posted. Let us know how it goes. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. David Crosburn has called us once again. Let's hear what he has on his mind this afternoon. Good afternoon, David Crosburn. How are you?
Good afternoon. Thanks a million for your kind thoughts. Just briskly, on the matter of roads, Dervan, I think we are going wrong. Research. We are not doing any research. And I just used to publicly tell the authorities to visit a road up in Upper Clarendon. The place is the Bauxite Company owns that place now. The road is named Teak Pen. Dervan, that road, a gentleman brought it to my attention. It's diamond hard. They took the sludge from when they were dredging Port Esquivel and used that sludge along with some other materials and make that road in Teak Pen in Clarendon. It's an area owned and operated by the Bauxite. They no longer operate it. They no longer mine in that area. But the road there is an example of what our farm road should be. A gentleman, when I was serving on the PC Bank, I can't recall his name, but he brought it to my attention. But he told me that the road is actually similar to what I made Flatbridge. If you notice Flatbridge in the Bagua Gorge, how it stand up for centuries, it's there.
Yes.
Molasses was a part of the preparation that made that road in Flatbridge. Or you see, Dervan, it hurts me because we don't understand what we have in our hands. Take, for example, the adhesive strength of molasses. It is something that we should be using and getting knowledge of, Dervan. And really what I was calling you to tell you is to tell you thanks and to use this opportunity to say a huge thanks to the University of Exeter in England. The university used aspects of my book in a global study. And I'm so happy that they recognize, it's in the Gleaner archives where they make mention of the book I've written in the global study at the University of Exeter. A lady, Dr. Warmington at our university, participated in that study, University of the West Indies. But the essence of it, Dervan, don't take my word for it. I'm beseeching you, just read pages 143 and 144 of my text that I've written and published in 2016. In page 143 and 144, I spent a lot of time on it's about South Africa. South Africa role in the sugar industry. I read a journal that the South Africa sugar industry published in 1964. In that journal, a member of the South African sugar industry forecasted what would be the global sugar consumption in 1980.
Hello?
He's 16-year old. Yes?
Okay, thought we lost you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, his 16-year forecast was still quite in line. So you can share it with your listeners. And I thank you for your work. And just in concluding, I just said to each other, I mentioned about it, the South African forecast that was done, and to draw the conclusion that presently we are using far less sugar in Jamaica than we used in the past. We use
that information is data driven, because that would be quite remarkable.
Yes, it's there. Just look. There's many sources. There's a source named Cesarna Sugar, Global Sugar Consumption. And also there's another German
researcher.
Yes. And they have the data. What we are doing, Dervan, we are using far less sugar in Jamaica, but where the difference is now than, say, in the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, we are using more corn sugar, cornstarch, corn sugar.
Okay.
We are using far more, which there are concerns about that, but I won't go into that. But there are concerns because even in Mexico is using less per capita than what they formerly used.
And that is a good thing, isn't it?
I'm not speaking for myself.
That is a good thing, isn't it? Hello? Connection issues? This is your program, Both Sides of the Story. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Guard your health. If you're uninsured, don't wait to apply for health insurance. If employed, your employer may offer health insurance, including high-deductible health plans that save on premiums. Look at quotes from different insurance providers to find the lowest rates. Research all your options to see if you qualify for a subsidy based on your income.
I have a dream that someday we will all walk on the moon. I have a dream that someday this is going to be a better. Maybe you can't see my moon, you can't see my dream, but I'm sure someday you'll understand. If you're all there, you'll put it together and dream.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Sorry for the abrupt end in the call with David Cross. Is he still there? Oh, okay. Hello? Okay, let's go to another call. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling Both Sides of the Story.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Miss Mervis. What's happening?
I'm listening. What is happening all over the place? Oh, yes, so I don't think who you are. You sound very healthy and strong. Thank God. You know,
We give thanks for that, yes.
greetings to you and all the staff of the great Power 106 and all the workers at Grandma Gleaner and all of them out. Yes, man. I've been listening and listening and listening all over the place. And I said, boy, it look like it's time to stop talking now, you know. I like the action I'm call, you know. And greetings to all the listeners from in Jamaica and across the globe. So much things going on that not with sounding the trumpet and not right, and there's so many things that should be right. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
We have the capacity, you know.
We do.
I don't know, that hurt me more than anything else because me knows that this nation has the capacity. You know, being a 78-year-old woman coming from down the road when Jamaica was the pearl of the South, you know what I mean? Some things about Jamaica. You know, me have somebody saying on the program this morning to Dr. Gale, with some genie with, in some place or whatever. Oh my, how do we get back the genie in the water and whatever? You know? Maybe we need a pause, you know what I mean?
A pause.
Stop.
For how long?
You know, remember not very long ago you asked me what do we do next? Couple programs down the road with the call,
yes.
Saying certain things.
I remember that.
And you know me always talking about this 1 year national repentance, reconciliation and commitment.
Mm-hmm.
But God declared and give us forgive this nation from 1993. The nation not going anywhere without it, Dervan. You're not going anywhere without it, you know. I didn't declare it in declare it based on them request made in the national anthem. And give go and deliver it to the nation. I have nothing wrong here. Everything I said is what he requires me to say. And I remember one day he said to me, don't put any word in his mouth. You know what that means? Don't say, well, no one say. And on the other side, we better make sure I say what I want me to say. One young man saw me at the road one day and said, love the things that me say, always listen to me, but he wonder if somebody won't hurt me because of some of the things I say. I tell him whether so be it or not, I have to speak what the king tell me speak because I can't get hurt otherwise. You know? But this 1 year thing is not a joke, you know, because himself, the PNP declare it, the JLP they won't participate. And if the JLP declare it, the PNP won't participate. And if him give it to a church denomination, it can come like it belongs to some church denomination. You understand? So I'm not promising him because to come set up this entity where him call Jamaica Beyond Ministry. It is not a church, it is not an organization. That name is there because you know something has to have a name for reference, don't it? Known is something that is important, but everything has to have a name. Because how would you refer to it? So name the thing Jamaica Beyond Ministry. And it dictates everything that I have around here. It's dictated from the kingdom up there. I don't know many people so are preaching the gospel verbal, and I'm going to start preaching gospel for years or now. But you know, we're oblivious of the fact that this God thing is a kingdom thing, Dervan. We seem to focus on God and Jesus, but I watched Jesus preaching all through those gospels and he keep on saying the kingdom of heaven is like unto. Artificial, this the other day said to me, for you to have artificial, don't you must have natural? Well, you have to have natural to get the artificial. So, all this artificial, this and artificial, that the creation of these things And people study and them give them wisdom and them understand certain things. But minus this year of national repentance, reconciliation, I delivered to the Prime Minister. And quite a few places, him name out the places I should have sent them to. The JTA, the NGOs, religious groups, all at my cost. I had to send them, prepare them and send them and post them. And I used Grandma Glean have a lot of information on the things I was doing down the road to get this message across. Yeah? I have some of the copies out here and in various places. I use all kind of methods. And the people sit down in a will not do them go on a Grandson Avenue and them have one pile up something. It stopped this. Them go down to August Tunnel and pile up something. It stopped this. I mean, I want them with all the pilot. The pilot, them never take off to anywhere in the Dervan. This 1 year thing, it gives us an opportunity and a timing for every sector to get involved simultaneously. And they never work otherwise, you know. Never work. The government, the Prime Minister, the Labour Party don't have no answer to this thing. The CNP don't have no answer to it. The church don't have no answer for it. The security don't have no answer for it. Because there's a sort of demonic undercurrent in this thing where physical alone can manage. You see? When they are mighty tell you to do something and you do it, you know, it means his empowerment is coming with it. You understand? I am here long enough, working here long enough, long before. From a Christian at age 15 coming up way down the road. Me understand this God and I deal with this God long time before I'm saying me come run this ministry here. Come do this thing. Another Christian will tell us so. People in 2005, you're looking at the Old Testament. Those people didn't have any Bible down there in the Dervan. There was no Bible down there, no. A lot of these patriots down there, no Bible never down there with them. God speaks to man in a different ways. And he makes us to have, he make a man have one image and likeness. And by the way, before we forget, no excitement about Father's Day. But if we forget, one bless up all the good fathers in the nation. Continue to do what you're doing. And for those who not shoulder their responsibility, I would plead with them to go and do it because the situation is serious because the men are out of them places. They were given a task by God and they're not keep it, they're not dealing with the task they were given. Hence the condition in the world. So yes, we have to take that here then and it can't work without it, you know. It not gonna work. I tell them all the while every time when I did them this, the condition gets worse. Because mankind is not an easy creature to manage, you know, Dervan. We don't know about anybody else. Mankind is not like them robots where them have for them programming, you know, Dervan. You know, see, God made the world with the democratically speaking. America made democracy, you know. God made a democratic world, and in the middle of the democracy, you have a little bit of the whole of the rest of them. And he make man to think, and man to relate to him because this world belongs to him. You can't manage it well without him. There's another force what teach you. You see, there's a thing I have you said, mind power is real power, it will build and it will destroy. Yeah? So, this mind thing, where you can't see in the mind of people see what the devil has said to them in there. You see? It takes the Almighty God to deal with some case run and God has reveal. Sometimes people want help on them a line and God only reveal everything to me and they not even know what's going on around here. Mankind is a creature but it takes more than human being to deal with. You see? So the world is in a state now where mankind drifts too far from the Creator. You see? And then some feel they want to take it over and they didn't bring it in here and they can't carry it with them. I mean, I talk about from the Russian one straight down. The last time I spoke to you, I talk about Hitler. When he get on with and then shoot himself. And them just can't learn. When you listen to what is going on in this beautiful little nation, as God rightly stepped on Miss Blaine program some years ago, God rest her soul. She said, what is wrong with the nation?
Yeah, my sister to me said the nation had lost its conscience. But call her and tell her so. There's something about our conscience is in this place. Because when I listen to some of the arguments from the taxi men yesterday, them have some argument, yes, but the strike on a Monday morning, Dervan. You know, so the Monday morning at the beginning of school as a teacher, you know what I mean? And then all waiting on the taxi men alone. I mean, people who are protest. Them choose Monday. Nobody seems to consider the students, the children going to school. This is an examination time, you know, Dervan. Where you work. In fact, I heard Delia say something on our program one evening, and I wish everybody would have repeated. She said the moment you enter school, you're preparing for exam. So is this true?
Pretty much at some stage you're going to have to
well, whether it's internal or external, not true?
Yeah.
I love the talk, the argument. A long time here to say, let it go, people will repeat that. The moment you enter school, you are preparing for an exam. And good God Almighty, this is cape time, this is safety time, this is whatever. And people just, them not stop to think about the youth, how long it take you to prepare, you know what I mean? All the sleepless night, the book studying, the this, and you have to forego so much things that you want good to come. And in a one day, Dervan, you know that to their mindset, eh? Me want to set as a teacher and as a person who used to do exam and appeal out there to tell them to stop, block the road them for Monday morning. Yeah. You start off from Monday morning is very important. If you're going to protest, why you have to block the road? You see? They must stop and think about other people before them do these things, man. It really hurt me. From the other day, they have these roadblock and protests, and the same thing keep happening to the students. But people spend a lot of money and whatever. And nobody seems to be thinking about them. And yet we're talking about the child more, the child this, the child that, the child that. What kind of thought them there? Them don't make no sense to me.
Miss Mervis, we have to take the break now.
Yeah, so this 1 year thing, you're going to pick it up November to October, where every sector gets involved from Nigrid Point to Moran Point. The police clean up feet up so that we're into that. In fact, when one they catch them talking about left and right, them to get some of the heavy charges. And the taxi men them cannot want to do just about anything on the road. I never drive a car, so I know about them. Them have to do better with them driving and everything out there. And they can't talk about them earning money. They must do what is right.
Thank you. On that note, Miss Mervis, thank you very much. Do what is right.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30. Conrad Douglas and Associates Limited and its subsidiary Environmental Science and Technology Limited, the leading environmental management consultancy firm in Jamaica for over 38 years, joins in celebrating World Environment Day 2024 under the theme Land Restoration, Desertification and Drought Resilience. CDA Tech operates by their slogan statements: quality service at its best, and science and technology for sustainable development. Call them at 876-929-8824 or visit 14 Carvalho Drive, Kingston 10.
deposit will have insurance. It's an account that comes with assurance. Let me teach you why it's important to have deposit insurance. Just in case your bank crash, no need to transfer your to 1.2 million you get for an account that's affected. Yeah, one load that can start it. Also, a house party. Pay your mortgage with ease. JBIC is a smart win. Deposit we bring safety. JBIC them protect me. Bank and building society protected. The flow you must get with. Protect your savings smart. We urging you to come. Guarantee you be us. We take banking serious. GBIC, protecting the deposits for you and me. Oh, how sweet the words of love and peace. sound joy. Only one thing wrong, my friend. Too many say these words.
Thanks a lot for staying with us on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We're still taking your calls on 876 922 4112 to 5. 876 922 4112 to 5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. We have a couple of messages still with us. This one, someone was making a suggestion here. This is from Horace, otherwise known as Spider. And this person says, "Good afternoon. I don't think it is beyond us to give the inner city a flat rate on electricity. It is really difficult to most of these people to pay. So some of them have to do things that they don't have a choice of doing. The government can use it as a way to fight crime. They can zone each community and let the people apply for it. But each zone must be crime-free for that zone to get the flat rate. You would be surprised to see how much the crime would reduce in Jamaica." That's from Horace, otherwise known as Spider. He goes on to say, "A big stick doesn't always solve the problem." And he says, "Remember, you can catch a pan of water, but you can't catch a pan of light." And he goes on to say, "Mr. Malcolm, I remember years ago when we have an accident with a traffic ticket, with a certain gentleman, when people in high places were trying to get the individual off. And now the government put on this massive amount on the same traffic tickets. I honestly believe it is wicked and disgraceful. We should not allow it," says Horace, otherwise known as Spider. And Neville, otherwise known as Salah, says, "Dervan, I see where this JLP MP asking how old was Mark Golding's wife when she had her first child. How old was this MP when..." Okay, have to jump over that. "These people don't seem like they have any morals. If that is what they want to do, politics, if that is why they want to do politics, please make sense." Salah from Kingston. All right, Salah from Kingston, thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your messages. And all the very best as we continue with more here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, and taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. What's on your mind this afternoon? Feel free to get on board and to share with us. And we're just a couple of days now away from the start of the 10th Biennial Jamaica Diaspora Conference, which is scheduled to kick off on the 16th, that's Sunday the 16th of June, and that will run for a few days. And we look forward to a successful conference. So by all means, spread the word, and we hope it will all go well. an opportunity to reconnect. We'll come back to that in just a moment. 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm giving thanks for life. And you?
We are all blessed.
Welcome. What's on your mind this afternoon?
All right. Mr. Dervan,
Yes.
to the taxi man, them
What about them?
can't protest the non do what they want to do, you know. But listen now, them to remember, even think about themselves. I know the time is very hard. And if people don't go to work, they won't get paid. If the kids them don't go to school, they won't learn nothing. You understand? So what I'm saying to them, they want to demonstrate they can do that. But in the morning, come out and tell us superstars when they I want
Sorry, something has gone wrong with your line. Check it, please.
Okay, hold up.
That's much better.
All right, I'm saying,
Uh-huh.
what I'm saying, all right? Whatever time of the money them come out, pick up the people them.
Sorry, check your line. Check again. You want to hang up and call back? The quality of the line is not good.
Hold on.
Oh, that's much better. Hello? Hello? All right. Please call again. Sorry about that. As we continue here on both sides of the story, Para 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. So sorry we lost your call. Feel free to rejoin us when you're able to. In the meantime, coming up at 4:30, it was brought to our attention some data with respect to road crashes beyond the usual things that we would talk about. And this now has to do with the crashes themselves and the implications for the insurance companies. And when you hear those figures, when you see the numbers, it puts you in a state of shock for those who perhaps had not before paid attention to these matters. It's a lot of money. I mean, it's bad enough that we're losing a lot of lives. It's even worse. We don't want to be losing lives in the first place. And so we want to use the opportunity to once again congratulate Alfonso Grenell. We'd like to congratulate him on the work that he has been doing, because that series of defensive driving workshops, we believe, has made a difference and can continue to make a difference going forward. And it really went very well, and we trust that we will have more of these sessions, refreshers for some of us, and par for the course for others. I really would like to congratulate Alfonso Grenell and the supporting organizations, the partners on board, the Red Stripe, part of the Heineken company, of course, the RGR Gleaner Communications Group, and the Insurance Association of Jamaica. Hope I didn't forget anybody. But we are curious to learn more from Orville Johnson, the Executive Director of the Insurance Association of Jamaica. So we look forward to listeners at home and abroad on both sides of the story. So we continue in the meantime to take your calls. Wayne Thompson, good afternoon to you. Wayne Thompson is a robotics STEM engineer. Yesterday, we engaged him in conversation on the subject of the future of STEM, STEAM, artificial intelligence, and robotics. And he spent a good amount of time with us exploring those issues. And we're happy for that opportunity because the technology is not stagnant, it's constantly evolving. Who knows what it will be in the next second, the next minute, the next hour, the next day. You get the point. Thank you very much, Wayne Thompson, for that. And Ras Ayuda says, more blessings. Thank you very much, Ras Ayuda. Coming up on another break. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. How much do you know about spices and the impact they have on your everyday life? Join us every other Friday during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie at 6:18 a.m. for Spice of Jamaica. We'll give you tips, tidbits, and interviews about the revitalization and sustainability of the Jamaican spices, including ginger, turmeric, and pimento. That's Spice of Jamaica every other Friday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie right here on Power 106 FM. Spice of Jamaica is brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture Food for Progress Jamaica Spices Project.
I have a dream that someday we will walk hand in hand. I have a dream that someday this is going to be a better. Maybe you can't see my dream, you can't see my dream, but I'm sure someday you'll understand. If you want to you get it together and dream. Oh, how sweet the words love and peace sound to you. And one thing on my face, too many say these words, not enough are sincere. Oh, the words of freedom, liberty, stands out in my soul and my mind. Just come to just as a blind. I have a dream that someday
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We're taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Feel free to share whatever is on your mind this afternoon on Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And take you back in time just for a moment. 1950. The last remaining gas lamps on East Queen Street in Kingston were removed and replaced with electric streetlights. Kingston's streetlights have been lit by gas lamps from the last century. And we have about 117,000 streetlights in Jamaica now, something along those lines. That's a lot of, well, we hope they're taking care of them these days more than ever and lighting the public spaces. And while we're on the history for the children, the first edition of the Children's Own newspaper was published on this day in 1950. The first edition of the Children's Own newspaper was published on this day in 1950. The Children's Own was and still is printed by the Gleaner Company and is specially prepared for school children. When the first edition of the Gleaner's Children's Own was published on this day in 1950, it was being sold for 1 farthing. 1 farthing. Okay, let's go on to more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, good afternoon. It's Nelly.
The line is still not too good, but go ahead.
Yeah, what I was saying about the taxi man them. The taxi man them could go out, get up in the morning, pick up the people carry them go to work, carry them go to school and wherever they want to go, and work until 9 o'clock. When 9 o'clock, them lock off the work and them start to demonstrate. In that way, the school kids them get to go to school and do them tests. The people them get to go to work. And them demonstrate from 9 until around 2 o'clock. When school is over again, them go pick up them start back them work. That means them not really lose any money. Them working at the morning and
well, they would tell you that would be defeating the purpose of the strike. Oh, your device is messing up. Yes.
You know, think about the school kids them. The kids them are forgotten. Are you and them place that the people them? The people them have to go to work to save people's life and all them things there. Think about those people, care them people like go to work. Because you still have stranded people. Because you have some people who come out and things there. You understand? Yeah, me feel it's better that we're there.
If only it were that simple. It's not that simple.
Well, if you want to put in, I'm going to try to okay. You see, Miss Marvis, with a one.
Your phone comes and goes. It's one moment we're hearing something and something muffled, and another moment the volume comes up. Are you still there? Hello?
Yes. You hear me now?
Hearing you now, yes.
All right, listen, Miss Marvis now, they're listening for years. Years she'll come and she'll talk with the Holy Spirit, tell her what to do, the Holy Father. Tell her what to do and but the Holy Father gives she those things. He don't give it to nobody else. And she will start with them things there now. Because the things that we share talk about are some good things. You understand? And she have to get up and start to do those things for some Irving. You understand? I used to Miss Morris don't go to church, and I don't really go to church either. A lot of people don't go to church. It's not because the Holy Spirit is not there or whatever. But I don't know what to say. The church,
not hearing you clearly.
Them call it the building church. And the building is not the church. It's we the people are the church. You understand?
Yes.
I would need to get up, Mr. Dervan. The Holy Father said, get up, go do his work, go do his works. What is works, Mr. Dervan?
Whatever you're instructed to do.
Right. You understand work. Him never say, you know, Mr. Dervan, the Holy Father no one will come break him and all of them because he's there now. Because everything already fixed already. And we should do what we supposed to do. Help our brother and sister them. We supposed to cook for them because they have to eat every day. We supposed to help and look shelter for them if them can't do it. Yeah, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the church them need to get up and go do. Get up, every Sunday morning them got church for almost years. And I repeat the same things them over and over. And them to say, nah, they need to go in the field where them can talk to the people them. When the people are going to bring joy to we are going to bring joy to the people them. You understand what I'm saying? Because suppose we get up now, we get some money together and we will fix up our brother or our sister's house. We can't keep service right there. We don't have to rush now the building. The building is a place where it's a family where we come together and we know one another. And you understand how we take care of one another and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying?
We're hearing you loud and clear.
Miss Marvis, you need to get up and you need to start the things them and people will come and join you and follow you. One of the main things we're supposed to look out. We're supposed to go look for a sister and brother and any of them there. Find them and help them because over time will come when we cannot move, more than we can just give thanks and praise. You understand? We are going to need them help. So we have to start put out those help. That's when the time comes we can get back those help.
Yes. The song says, if I can help somebody as I pass along. The song says, if I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain.
And Mr. Dervan, this will go there influence the people and them ask for something or you decide to give them something. You can't see the joy come from them face, you know. And it feel your heart to you feel good to you know. It's not like them alone feel good, you know. You feel good for no say, you know, the Holy Spirit bless you, or you could have blessed somebody else.
Amen.
Yeah, man. So, Sister Davis, Sister Mervis, start with some farmer cooking and get some money and start help because I just all the people in me. We just need to go work. Meanwhile, we get the whatever words we are get, we can still spread it. All right, Mr. Dervan, take care.
All right, you too. Thanks for the call.
All right.
Bye-bye.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
But it's a minute every rubbish in a pan. No dirty up the place, this a we island. So keep Jamaica, keep Jamaica. Say me good meat, keep Jamaica clean. Better listen to me please. No plastic bag, no fear blowing at the breeze. So proper garbage, disposal, recycle plastic, now make it pull up in the streets. But it's a minute every rubbish in a pan. No dirty up the place, this a we island. So keep Jamaica, keep Jamaica. Say me good meat. A message from the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
Let's clear a couple of these messages. This one says, no one is perfect. Typing from license, Anthony Heron. Thanks for your message, Anthony. Another one, hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. And this one says, good evening, sir. M. When things happen in Jamaica, some Jamaicans bring down their own people when things can be sorted by the government. And another one. And I think that's it. Those are just a couple of messages that came in a short while ago. And we're still taking your messages and your calls and indeed your comments and issues on both sides of the story here on Paro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, and live on your smart devices all over the world. Thank you very much, Anthony, for your messages. Good afternoon to Maurice. Maurice says, good afternoon. Oh, you're very kind in that designation of honorable. I think you have the wrong person there for me. Anyway, good afternoon to you too. Always a pleasure, says Maurice, listening to your program to keep abreast of the happenings in the diaspora. This is Maurice tuning in from balmy New Jersey. I heard about the taxi strike yesterday, and I was very appalled by the way they went about it. Choosing to conduct this on a Monday morning was unacceptable, considering the effects it had on citizens traveling to work along with the students going to school. They have to do better for sure. At any rate, keep up the great work. Take care. Thank you very much, Maurice. All the very best to you and all the other Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica in New Jersey. Driver is still tuned in to us, and he says, P.S. Solomon Burke's voice makes me remember Brooke Benton, one of my father's favorite singers. Happy to bring back those nostalgic moments. And this one from Anthony saying, one word to throw back to the transportation system in Jamaica, land we love, is indiscipline. That's from Anthony. Thank you very much, Anthony, for your message. The circumstances notwithstanding. In the meantime, we're taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And coming up in a few minutes, we'll be looking at some of the data from the Insurance Association of Jamaica arising from road crashes and fatalities. So that's coming up in a few minutes. If you have questions, please feel free to get them together, and we'll be happy to give you an opportunity to express yourselves. And so 876-922-4112-5, those are the numbers to call, 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And we'll see how much we can get out of this discussion coming up in a few minutes. But it was quite staggering the first time I heard those statistics in relation to the impact on the insurance industry and related fields with respect to road crashes and collisions here in Jamaica. Orville Johnson is the Chief Executive Director of the Insurance Association of Jamaica, the IAJ, and he is going to be joining us in a few minutes. In the meantime, we continue with more here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Velta Wilson says churches don't go about sounding trumpets about all they are doing. She says many churches are doing all she is saying. That was in reference to Miss Mervis and the other female caller earlier on as well, sharing their thoughts with us. And we appreciate those of you who have taken the time out to tune in, to listen, and to be a part of the experience here on Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Good afternoon, Cherry Henry. She says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. Bright and sunny day. Thank you for your message. Velta Wilson says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. Good afternoon, Velta Wilson. Thank you for tuning in. It's good to have you on board. And we look forward to your full participation. After all, it is your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, and live on your smart devices all over the world. And taking your calls, as we said, we take it for granted, but insurance wasn't always around. There is what was called the Code of Hammurabi first example of insurance and transferring risk. So it was around, but not in the way in which it is with us now. In medieval Europe, the guild system emerged, with members paying into a pool that covered their losses. In the 1600s, ships sailing to the New World would secure multiple investors to spread the risk around. The first insurance company in the US dates back to colonial days. The Philadelphia Contribution Ship, co-founded by Benjamin Franklin in 1752. Throughout US history, new types of insurance have evolved as new risks, such as the automobile, emerged. Now, the history of insurance traces the development of the modern business of insurance against risks, especially regarding cargo, property, death, automobile accidents, and medical treatment. So it's coming from afar. Life insurance began to emerge in the 16th and 17th centuries in England, France, and Holland. The first known life insurance policy in England was issued in 1583. But lacking the tools to properly assess the risk involved, many of the groups that offered insurance ultimately failed. That started to change, however, and we'll perhaps share some more of that with you in a little while. But we continue with more here on both sides of the story. Paro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices, and taking your calls as we get ready for our next segment. If you have questions in relation to insurance matters, feel free, as that's an opportunity as well. Orville Johnson knows the field quite well, and he would be in a position to ask a few questions himself and to be able to assist those who perhaps are having issues in relation to insurance. But there are some key, so we're coming to that. But in the meantime, there are some key takeaways. What some consider to be the first example of insurance and transferring risk can be found in the Code of Hammurabi. In medieval Europe, the guild system emerged, with members paying into a pool that covered their losses. In the 1600s, ships sailing to the New World would secure multiple investors to spread the risk around. The horrific Great Fire of London in 1666 gave rise to fire insurance. Life insurance became more widespread and affordable after the development of mortality tables, which helped predict longevity. So you can see it taking shape now, isn't it? Where it's coming from and where it is now. And perhaps in a little while we will hear where it is going and how far it's coming from. So feel free to hang around and receive some of this information, especially pertinent to insurance and road safety. These are the two areas we're covering in this segment. And the oldest insurance company in the world is considered to be Hamburger Furkasse, which was founded in 1676. Its first policies provided fire insurance within the city walls of Hamburg and reimbursed owners the market value of their buildings up to 15,000 marks with a 25% deductible. This is where it's coming from. The history of insurance is long and detailed, and it has evolved significantly over time. Though it can be expensive, insurance has prevented people and businesses from suffering financial loss, and it has financially protected people throughout time. So just thought we'd give you a bit of background. And there's a profile on Lloyd's of London and the history of the insurance marketplace. Lloyd's of London, often referred to today simply as Lloyd's, is an insurance and reinsurance marketplace. Its members operate as syndicates to provide insurance coverage for businesses, organizations, and individuals. The syndicates specialize in different types of risks, and each syndicate decides which risks to insure. The main purpose of Lloyd's is to facilitate transactions between insurance buyers and sellers. There is a bit more information for you. And let's go to this break, though, and then come back with much more on both sides of the story.
I have a dream. This is going to be a day. You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15. Are you looking for a powerful platform to promote your business in North America or the UK? Look no further than The Gleaner. Reach the diaspora and ignite brand awareness through our geo-targeted publications. Call 876-922-3400 or your Gleaner representative to explore the available options and book your ads, or email us at advertising@gleanerjm.com. Actualize your brand's potential today with The Gleaner. We're not for fools.
the Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
You can't see my moon. You can't see my dream. But I'm sure someday you'll understand. If you want there, you'll get oh, how sweet the words love and peace sound to you. Only one thing wrong, my friends. Too many say these words, not enough are sincere. Oh, the words of freedom, liberty stands out in my soul and my mind. Just come to just in the fire. I have a dream that someday
I have a dream that someday for our children this week. I mean, you can't see my meaning. You can't see
4:30.
I'm sure someday you'll understand.
No, she just have to defer to the interview. No, we'll keep the insurance discussion. No, we have the insurance interview. Yeah. Oh, so she wants. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot for staying with us on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. I hear Miss Mervis has called back. Welcome back. We just alerting you that we have another an interview scheduled for 4:30. Okay. Just.
Somebody come on to the phone telling me they're calling from Lime. And telling me I must supposed to get $3,000 worth of credit and $20,000 cash. Because Flo say we're complaining about the internet and whatever. So I'm going on the road asking me some question. But me watch because 2 minutes them scamming business around the place. So I'm going on the road and they tell me I have to do certain things. Then they start to ask me if me have online banking. They say that's not your business. Then I'm going on the road, which bank my bank with? Me say that's not your business neither. You see it? So I call Flo before I call you now to find out if them have such promotion going on, so any giveaway like that. The gentleman told me that it's only some giveaway they have for Father's Day. I mean, I'm no father. So I tell Flo put something out there, so I tell him, so I call the radio station and tell people, watch out for this kind of thing, you see? So I make sure I verify with Flo first.
Yes.
There's no such thing going on in Flo. What Flo giving nobody $3,000 worth of credit and giving you $20,000 on top of that. Boy, oh boy, thanks, yeah?
All right, thanks.
Just know nobody go get caught up in this because them things are subtle. The way I'm started, you know.
So they came to your gate?
No, man, I said, just had me hang up from you. The call came in on my cellular phone.
Oh.
Yeah. And then him very arrogant and me said, me don't know nobody from Florida talk to me that's arrogant. No, sir. So then when him can't get me to go in that direction, he want me to go and hang up. So people, they're going to please watch out, you know, because some of we work so hard for the money and some people just sit down and use the brain of God give them, you see? And it can so hurt me, you know, because some of we not very educated and not so smart. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm concerned about the vulnerable people in this nation. Yeah. Boy, oh boy. That's why we want an education program for lick shot out the road. You know, like lick shot still, sorry about that. And them boy from bus use that when they send off the bus. And to me, the regular passenger from them bus there, you know. I mean move driver. So, no man, the people need a whole heap of massive education in their Dervan. Whole heap of, because some people just using it, you understand? Using the ignorance of our people and it's really cutting my gut. Yeah. Our reading program, our education program, not this program we're talking about. You don't need 3 years or 6 months to learn to read, you know. The strategy is in there. And when once you get reading and learn some comprehension, you can learn a lot of things by yourself.
Yes.
And that send me come to educate, advice, inform and all that. So me just hope Jamaica people take this 1 year thing. It can't work, man. Too much every out road I get with too much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my darling. Thank you. Yeah?
All right. Thank you for the call, Miss Mervis. All the best.
Yeah.
Take care. And it's a message related to what you're talking about, I think, with respect to the church. The advice from the church leaders in the matter of our constitution is most disappointingly missing. I therefore charge the church leaders against the background of Jamaica being the only nation that fulfills I think you mean ISO, International Standards Organization, ISO certified to interpret for us the isles shall wait for his law. Can they do so before end of this week? From Ras Mandito 9. Okay, Ras Mandito 9. Thank you very much for your message. And all the very best to you. 876-365-3346 is the text line, same as the WhatsApp number. That's 876-365-3346. And the text line, that's the WhatsApp number and the text line, one and the same. And the regular call-in number is 876-922-411225. 876-922-411225. And once again, a reminder that coming up in just about 6 minutes or less, we will have a talk with Orville Johnson of the Insurance Association of Jamaica, just to clarify and share a little more than we got yesterday when we were at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel for the defensive driving workshop. So look to that and get ready for that segment coming up in just a moment. And we hope that you will benefit from the information, or that you will find the information useful, especially in an environment with so many crashes and collisions here in Jamaica. So the tagline Mr. Grenell designed for this year was Crash No More 2024. But it takes all hands. It needs all hands on deck in order for us to see in a reasonable time the fruits of our labor. But in the meantime, we continue to play our part, whether we walk, ride, drive. We have a responsibility to play our part. Instead of being selfish in our use of the roads, we want to encourage a greater level of wisdom in how we use the road network. I mean, Jamaica is one of the leading countries in the world when it comes on to the road network. We have more roads per square kilometers here in Jamaica than they have elsewhere, France, UK, etc. So there's a lot of, we just have a lot of roads and lack the resources to sustainably maintain the road network. So that also has implications. But that doesn't mean now we're going to go around blaming the road network. The human element is critical. And so the human element has an awesome responsibility in helping us to minimize the incidence of crashes and collisions across the country. So we want to encourage each and every one of us to become ambassadors of road safety, always thinking of others, being mindful of how we comport ourselves on our roads. Because as we always say, you don't become a different person when you sit around the steering wheel. No, we don't. We don't become a different person. Whoever we are as individuals is exactly who we will see in the driver's seat. And that will give us an idea of who is in the driver's seat. So join us in continuing the promotion of road safety in our country. All right, so we're going to take the break in just a moment, and then it will be time for us to hear from Orville Johnson, Executive Director of the Insurance Association of Jamaica, the IAJ. As we said, he shared some data with us, and we got even more curious to find out the implications, not just the impact, but the implications of crashes and collisions on the insurance industry. Not that we are counting out the human element. That's not what we're doing. It's just that we're not accustomed to getting the data that we have seen with respect to the impact on the insurance industry. So when we heard those numbers, it got our attention. Have we taken the break? No? Okay, let's take the break and come back.
You can't see my dream, but I'm sure someday. You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30. Are you looking for a powerful platform to promote your business in North America or the UK? Look no further than The Gleaner. Reach the diaspora and ignite brand awareness through your geo-targeted publications. Call 876-922-3400 or your Gleaner representative to explore the available options and book your ads. Or email us at advertising@gleanerjm.com. Actualize your brand's potential today with The Gleaner, where life unfolds. Power 106 FM, the digital sound, and now reaching you in more ways. Listen to us on 106.1 to 106.9 on the FM band. You can also listen to us on the Power 106 FM app, which you can download on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can tune in on your mobile phones by dialing 631-359-8281 if you're in the US. And if you're in the UK, you can dial 0330-606-0953. Plus, listen to us on OneSpotMedia.com and the OneSpot Media app, or log on to go-jamaica.com. Power 106 FM, where all views can contend, giving you powerful talk radio in so many ways, on air and online.
Join your favorite nighttime show, Dear Pastor, with Reverend Dr. Aaron Damas, Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 p.m. Call in or text in and have great discussions with Dear Pastor as we exchange views on a range of subjects. That's Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Damas, Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 p.m. right here on Power 106 FM, the Power 106 FM app, and go-jamaica.com.
To freedom, liberty, stands out in my soul and my mind. Tears come to just as a fire.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we're delighted to be joined. Well, yes, we are. I mean, although the business of road crashes and collisions are concerning and so on. But thank you very much for agreeing to join us here on Both Sides of the Story. Orville Johnson, good afternoon to you. How are you?
Good afternoon to you, Dervan, and to your listeners. Always my pleasure. It's been a little while.
Indeed, it has.
Yes.
Right. So we've heard you with some numbers, some data in relation to crashes, collisions, the implications of the insurance industry and the impact of the crashes and collisions, etc. Can you share with us the nature and extent of the impact on the insurance industry?
Well, the insurance industry is in the business to provide compensation for financial loss. That's the narrow definition of what we do.
Yes.
So we are in the business that if you have a private car crashes, or your car crashes in somebody else's car, or worse, crashes in somebody's wall, or hopefully not in the country's multi-million-dollar bridge, and creates such a liability. That happens too. They have a term they use. They call it road furniture. It's traffic lights and all that are things that belongs to the government. And if you have a crash in those, the government will say that the insurance company needs to pay. So the insurance is set up to provide financial compensation so that persons can get themselves back to where they were before the crash. But we hope that there are as few crashes as possible if we could minimize that, because quite apart from the devastation of the crash, people get injured, and as you would have heard, people die. And it creates all kind of misery for family members who have to take care of persons who are not well, and even the whole misery, because you might crash and you survive, but you're incapacitated for years and years and years, and these are some of the things that persons don't think about. And so while we provide insurance, and this is why the government insists that if you drive on the road, you must have insurance, because it provides protection to other users of the road. You hit my car, then you must have insurance to try and settle that claim, so it's not left to you alone. We want to minimize that, so we want to appeal to persons that, notwithstanding the fact that your vehicle is properly insured, you need to drive as best and as carefully as possible. Because, if you think about it, Dervan, a car is a missile, It's a missile, it's a big missile, it's a powerful missile. And when you hear it on the road, some of those, especially those souped up cars, they sound almost like aeroplanes. And the force of that hitting another vehicle, or worse, hitting an individual, is something that is not something that one wants to see. So we encourage persons to drive slowly. But what has been our experience is that persons are driving carelessly on the road. Persons gaze, there is distracted driving, the use of the cell phone, because all of it is skillful, right?
So we think.
So, although the experts now say that when you are driving distracted using a cell phone,
as good as somebody who is drunk, you know. So you have to be careful because you know that if you take your eyes off the road, you know, it might be just that second when something happens, like some kid darts across the road or some car jumps across in your lane. And if you're not alert and ready to respond, then, you know, you can have a crash. We are concerned that, you know, over 1,000 motor claims come into our companies every week.
More than 1,000.
Yes. You know, so this is one of the things we grapple with, you know. So the incidence is high. So what does that speak to? That speaks to how we drive. You know, that speaks to how we drive. So when you look at it from that perspective, because when they read out the crashes and the deaths for the crashes, it might say, but that's not a lot of people. But just think of the crashes that take place, you know, 50,000 for the year. It's a lot, you know. So the other thing now, Dervan, is that the fact that we now have a lot of highways that are on the road. You are now exposed to more multiple collisions, which is even more dangerous. So cars are moving along at a pace, three aside. I mean, just think and just remember what happens on a Mandela highway, where you have 3 lanes of cars moving in the direction and people really moving and jumping in between the lanes. If you have somebody has a mishap, or the car spins out, or something goes wrong with the brake, it's not just you, but it might involve several other people. So it also, again, impresses upon us that we've got to be more careful how we drive. Right? We've got to be more careful how we drive. So for the first 4 months of the year, we already have paid out $6.3 billion in terms of claims.
My God. For the first, how many months? 4 months.
Yeah. Right. So we are on the road for more claims than last year. We did about 18 billion. So it is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And companies collect premiums, of course. But then if you have
Hello? Oh, sorry, we lost you for a moment there, but go ahead, please.
Yes. If you have more claims, then the companies invariably will have to increase the premium. So there's enough money in the pool to pay the claims. Because insurance is a pool, you know, it's like a big partner.
Yes.
So everybody joins the partner and putting their money in that pool so that when anybody has a crash, then there's money in that pool to fix that person's vehicle. So that's a whole notion behind it, how the rationale behind it. So if you're going to have more and more crashes, then you're going to need more and more money in the pool so that when persons have a crash, there's money in there to pay for repair of the vehicle. So it behoves us, therefore, to behave or to drive in such a way that you reduce the incident of the crashes. And that's why, as you know, Dervan, yesterday, Grinnell's driving school had defensive driving workshop. So persons learn how to drive defensively, meaning that you don't just drive for yourself, but drive for the other man. So you look and see how the other persons are driving, and you don't wait until the appointed time to take some kind of action. So you drive with anticipating what is happening and what might happen. So you're driving along a road and you see pedestrians on the road, and you recognize, especially if there are young children, that somebody might just dart across the road, and that's how you drive defensively. you take into consideration all those things that will happen. One of the common ones that we now have to focus on is persons who are now so much involved with their mobile phone that they're on the phone hearing some juicy story and they step out in the road without recognizing what is happening, and we see that happening all the time. You know, so you recognize that a lot of the fatalities on the road are in fact pedestrians. You know.
Yes. So
Pedestrians.
yes. So the trend is that what we're seeing a lot more crashes and collisions. People, more passengers, more motorists and other road users.
You know, what we started off very well in the first month or two, and of course last year we did better than before. But we're almost catching up now. At the 4-month mark, we're almost where we were before. So we now need to take a hold of ourselves and try to see if we can get the numbers looking better towards the end of this year. So we put the numbers out so that people will heed the warning and respond appropriately, you know, because it's a life. And motorbikes, as you know, is about a third of the fatalities come from motorbikes. The Insurance Association of Jamaica from about 2017 we have been involved in motorbike training sessions, road safety sessions. And one of the things we recognize that a lot of people riding bikes were never taught. They learn beside Joe, and you see him do so, and you learn. So you have not gone to the dynamics, and so that's why it's perhaps not surprising that there are so many crashes among motorbikers, because a lot of persons who are going to drive a car, they go to a driving school, but there are not many motorbike driving school. Because, as they say, you drive a bike because the bike has an engine. So you ride a bicycle, but you drive a bike because that's a powerful engine.
We have a few more questions for you, Orville Johnson. Bear with us, please. We're going to the break, and we'll come back in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Protect your wealth. If you rent, get renters insurance to protect the contents of your home from loss due to theft or fire. Read the policy carefully to see what's covered and what isn't. Disability insurance protects your ability to earn an income by providing you with a steady income if you're unable to work for an extended period due to illness or injury. If you want help managing your money, find a fee-only financial planner to provide unbiased advice.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still taking your calls, but in the meantime, we are zoning in on the impact and implications of crashes and collisions in general, but narrowing it down for specific reasons to the insurance industry, because every time we hear those numbers, we think, oh no, you can't be serious. That's a lot. Run those numbers by us again, Mr. Johnson.
Over a thousand motor claims are sent to the motor insurance companies every week. Every week, and that's a lot. And what that is an indication of the behavior of how we drive on the road. As you know, we are fairly, I hesitate to use the word, we are a spirited people. Let me use that word. We are a spirited people, and we tend to drive in a very spirited way on the road. And sometimes things get away. And what
one of the things I said at workshop when I spoke is that 86% of these crashes are attributed to the men and 14% to the women. And we know that there is almost even steam with women driving on the road, not like back in the day.
Oh, really?
You know, they are doing pretty well. I'm not quoting the statistics, but generally speaking, there's certainly much more than 14% of women driving vehicles. But look at what happens when you examine the figures of the crashes. Look at what happens when you look at the deaths on the road. So there has to be something about how we drive versus how the women drive, and why we dominate the crashes the way we do, and the numbers suggest. And you know, one of our companies have always had that phrase, the road angels.
Yes.
So the women are seen as road angels because of how they drive, and they drive with a more care and more diligence generally, and also good road manners, right? And some of us men, I have to say, Dervan, drive a kind of hoggish way, don't we?
Oh, yes.
When they're on the road, you know, you literally, when you see them coming, you want to get out of the way. And it's an indication of how we drive the vehicles. And it's so therefore what we are saying, personal responsibility is one of the first ways that we can reduce the collisions on the road. There are other things such as we have issued the road surface. There's a very interesting story on television recently about with all the construction taking place, cement on the road, you know.
Yes.
Vehicles carrying cement and there's the spillage, you know, there's that awful one that at the top, almost at the top of Mountain View Avenue, right by that traffic light, where obviously there's quite a spillage and then the cement hardened, and that's dangerous, especially for those who drive fast in the night. And then you come up on it suddenly and your car gets out of control. And that leads me to sort of indicate what the analysts tell us when they look at it. One of the major causes of the crashes has to do with speeding, right? We tend to drive very fast as a culture, as a people. Part of it, mostly, has to do with the younger people sometimes, but a lot of times you run late as a culture, we try to catch up.
So very fast and very close as well.
Yes. So we and again, we think we are skillful, eh? So therefore, we try a thing and so watch our me, you know, let me see how we get this thing done. And we have all seen, particularly those motorbikers, you know, sort of weaving their way through the traffic, and looks a little attractive, but it's certainly dangerous. And therefore, we have to be careful. The other issue is the helmets. Not wearing helmets. A lot of the persons who crash motorbikes and die.
Let's come back to the helmets and the motorbikes. One moment, please.
NIS pensioners, early encashment continues. All pension order vouchers dated June 15 may be encashed as of Thursday, June 13. Collect your June payments at your convenience. Simply visit your designated post office. Pension vouchers can only be encashed at post offices. A message from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and online with us this afternoon is Mr. Orville Johnson, the Executive Director of the Insurance Association of Jamaica. And he's been sharing some data with us and discussions on related matters, the impact and implications of crashes and collisions. And so we're continuing that discourse. We have a few minutes before we have to wrap for the news. Yes, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, we were talking about motorcycling.
Yes.
And the statistics is 33%, and that's been fairly steady for the past couple of years. A third of the fatalities are motorcyclists. And motorcyclists die primarily because you're not wearing a helmet and you fall on your head, get in a crash at the kind of speed some of them ride at, you're going to have a problem. We know part of it also the condition of the roads. Motorcyclists have to ride on the roads. A lot of times the side of the road is very gravelly. So if there's something happens and you have to kind of ease off on the side, your bike can get out of control. Of course, there are those who have to do a little wheelie and, kind of show off and all that kind of thing. Or you have to bob and weave to show off between traffic to show how skillful they are and you can ride. But your best protection to stay alive is to wear that helmet. And wear a proper helmet too. There are helmets and there are helmets.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a lot more focus by the law enforcement on people having the right helmets that can provide the right protection. So remember, it's your brain.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to protect that head because it can't, it's not like you have a car. If you're driving a car, there's metal all around you. There's airbags and there's seatbelts and car top and all that. When you ride a bike, you're exposed.
Mm-hmm.
You're exposed. And there's nothing to cushion and take the hit. Of course, there are all kinds of things now that you wear all kinds of padding that you can wear all around you that protects you from bruises. But by and large, the helmet is the most important thing for your own protection. And it's absolutely important. And it's in fact the law. And the law enforcement will be stepping up the enforcement to ensure that persons who ride that bike have the helmet. But you need to have an interest in for your own person.
That's right.
One of the things that when we used to have those road safety workshops with the BTP group, they used to ask all of the guys who ride bikes, they said, who is waiting on them to come home safely? And that is something that must stay with most persons, not just motorbikers, but when you go into that car before you start, the persons at home, your family, your friends, assume that you're going to come home safely. We take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
But as we know from the statistics, everybody does not go home safely.
Yes.
Some people have a problem. But with that kind of consciousness, you put yourself in a better position to ride safely, drive safely, drive sensibly. If you drink, don't drive. If you're going out to a social, you can always have a designated driver who's just going to drink soft drinks and drink the water, and you have to organize that. You have to take that personal responsibility, both for yourself and for the other users of the road and the family waiting for you to come home safely. And we know how it goes when parents have young children, especially teenagers, and they start going out. A lot of parents don't sleep until that child comes home and is safe and sound.
Yes.
So it is very, very important that we take personal responsibility. So just law and order is not going to do it, although what we are going to see increasingly, Dervan, is more technology being used to identify persons who are not sticking to how they should operate on the road. Of course, the Road Traffic Act has been upgraded and there are fines and all kinds of things there to dissuade people from keeping on track.
But very soon there'll be cameras all over the place. So the minute you're out of line, the camera can pick you up and identify you and they can take action. In fact, I gather there is no technology in certain countries. If you go on the highway, the thing is so set up that if you leave that toll plaza and you get to the other toll plaza and you get there too fast, the computerized calculation of the speed you must have been going at. So all they have to do rather than set up a speed trap, just wait on you when you come through that terminal and then just pull you over. Because if you can't be within a certain time frame, you must have been breaking the speed limit. So technology is going to be a great assistance to ensure the better enforcement on the road. But at the base of it, personal responsibility. There are also devices that are being developed that persons can drive with, and there are companies who do that for company vehicles, which literally tracks everything that you do, and therefore your behavior pattern is there. In fact, there are some insurance companies, some countries overseas now use that to determine if you're a good driver, if you're speeding, if you're braking on time, and it might even help you to get a better rate of insurance premium.
Speaking of braking on time, we have to draw breaks here now. It's almost news time, but we are grateful for your time and the information that you have shared with us on the program. Yes, thanks a lot. All the best.
Stay safe, everybody.
And you too. Take care. And that was the Executive Director of the Insurance Association of Jamaica, Mr. Orville Johnson, speaking with us on road safety matters. And we'll have to leave it there. Thanks once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and curling. Our 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
Bye.
Good afternoon, I am Jay Tran. Coming up in the news segment of Beyond the Headlines today, Tuesday, July